The end to the partial government shutdown with our political analyst Brian Sobel. And Brian, we're just getting word that the House has followed in the Senate's footsteps. It has approved this deal. It will now go to the president for his signature. But as you just heard in those two pieces from Christina and Rob, federal workers obviously relieved, but leery about all of this as well.
Well, if you're one of those people, you say you got a 3-week reprieve, but after that, maybe we're right back into the same problem we were before. I actually don't take that view. I think over the next 3 weeks, they will come up with something. The president was persuaded to back off, but holds out the promise that if he doesn't get what he wants, he may do it by executive privilege, essentially.
What do you think over the course of this more than a month-long shutdown here? What changed for the president? Why did he finally decide that, look, we have to fund the government and get things back open?
I think very quietly people in his party were saying 800,000 people are in harm's way financially. We need to figure something out here. I think he was getting pressure from all kinds of people. We were starting to see breakdowns in the air transportation network. Right. Huge thing. So across the board, I think he finally said, hey, if we can't solve it in 3 weeks, I'm going to do it the hard way.
The president, though, vowed just this week that the Republicans would not cave, using cave his words, without some sort of agreement on border security. And we're talking about funding for a wall. Trump cave is now trending on Twitter. Did, in fact, the president cave?
Absolutely. And you got to call it what it is. I think now, whether he is retrenching for another day in the fight, I don't know. But today, you saw Chuck Schumer, in particular, say, I hope the president has learned a lesson. What the president has learned over time is that the judicial branch can stop him, and the legislative branch can stop him. And he has now suffered both of those, and he's got to learn to work with people. And the Democrats have to come halfway, too.
And from a political standpoint, I mean, do you think he was really outmaneuvered here by House Speaker Pelosi?
To the extent that they sat back and waited it out, yes. Absolutely. And I think for the president, he's saying, hey, I'll have another day, another at-bat. Yeah. We'll see where that goes.
But public opinion is not on his side.
No. No, his base certainly supports his position, but you could see it eroding, and Democrats read the polls just like Republicans do, and I think that they felt like, hey, if we just hold out a little bit longer, the other person will blink, and the president blinked today.
We don't have a whole lot of time, but I do want to touch base on the national emergency aspect of this. If he's going to say in 3 weeks, I'm going to declare a national emergency, it seems as though an emergency means imminent, happening now, and we will have gone 35 days plus another 15 days. Does that sort of chip away at his argument that this is indeed a national emergency?
Sure, and that's what the basis of a number of lawsuits will say, is there is no national emergency here. But it may be a way out, frankly, for some Democrats as well, because he just declares it by fiat. They go off and do that. You reopen the government. Everybody snipes about him exceeding his authority, and life goes on.
And there'll be certainly a lot of legal challenges.
Oh, there's no question about that.
So then it all plays out in the courts, but the government remains open.
The government remains open.
All right, political analyst Brian Sobel.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yep.
And for more on the government...